My mom and dad live in Saskatoon still, and they have 11 grandchildren, and all 11 of those grandchildren were on the boat, as well as their three children. Right, so that would have a catastrophe would have been an understatement for them. We're supposed to be on the boat from the 3rd of August until the 6th, and so we had 4 families on the boat. We all drove our cars out individually, and we boarded the boat about 5 o'clock last Monday, a week ago today. And we did what you do on a houseboat. So, kids were jumping in the water, using the water slides, had dinner. We all went to bed at about, 11:30, 12 o'clock. And so I was awake. This is now 2 a.m. and the generator was kicking on and off. And I didn't really think anything of it. I wasn't the captain of the boat. John Witt, who is a local emergency doctor, was the captain of the boat. He had got the training on the boat before we went out. And so it just was getting hot in the room. I opened the bedroom window, and then John just screamed fire. And obviously you could tell by the tone of his voice that this was not a drill. Now, by the time we got off, I think it took us a minute to get off the boat, all of us. There were 20 feet of flames on this boat. And so we needed to get away from the actual boat because we thought it was going to explode. There were also 2 barbecues on there with propane tanks. And so we had to get out of there. Everyone just started yelling names, yelling names of people that were on the boat just to make sure that everyone made it off. Because at that point I had no idea whether or not all 21 of us had made it. And then in the distance, probably a couple hundred yards, 200 or 300 yards away from the boat, was a cabin. One of the people at the cabin flashed a flashlight at us, and we knew somebody was there. And so we knew that that was a destination to get to. In the fire, we lost both sets of our keys for our vehicle. We lost our cell phones, computers, and so we lost our credit cards, bank cards. So we had no money, no ID, no keys. And so we had to ultimately get, for instance, new keys made for our vehicle. And our vehicle had to be towed to a dealership in Vernon, BC. And that took, I think, 3 days before we were able to get our keys redone. And that's kind of a human moment too, because the first time I became emotional about this was when I picked up those keys, and the service manager, even though he knew that the houseboat company was going to be paying for the keys, he had spoken to his wife the night before, and they had decided, they've got 2 young kids and a baby on the way, and they decided they wanted to do something for us. And so he said, we've taken care of, it was like a $700 bill. He said, we've taken care of the keys, we've given your car an oil change, and here's a Visa card for your trip home. And, I just broke down when the guy handed it to me, because it was just such an act of kindness, and just seemed so vulnerable afterwards. And it just was, 2020 has been a tough year for a lot of people. And my takeaway from this is that if someone you love gets in trouble, I think people should be aware that there are people around you that are going to help out in any way they can. And I think it's been pretty easy to forget about that, because you haven't been socially interacting with people as much as we did before COVID-19. But it's heartwarming to know that people still care deeply about the people around them.